All right, today we're going to tackle the single most important document in the Philippines, what I like to call the nation's blueprint. We're going to break down the Constitution piece by piece and really see how it builds the government, empowers its people, and most importantly, protects our freedom. So let's just start with this huge question, right? How in the world do you create the rules for a nation of over 100 million people? How do you build a government that's actually strong enough to work, but not so strong that it starts stepping on the rights of its own citizens? It's a tough balancing act. Well, the answer to that massive challenge is the Constitution. And that blueprint analogy, it's perfect. The Constitution is the ultimate plan for the entire nation. It's not just another law. It is the supreme law of the land. It's the foundation that every other law has to be built on. And the most crucial part? This blueprint was created by the people for the people. And that leads us to the most fundamental idea of all. It's simple, but it's so powerful. In a democratic state like the Philippines, all government power, all authority comes from one place and one place only, the people. Sovereignty, that ultimate power, stays with them. They just agree to lend some of that power to a government that's supposed to work for them. Okay, so the people give the government its power. But what can it actually do with that power? Well, every state comes with a basic toolkit. These are called inherent powers. They're the essential abilities a government needs just to function and to protect its citizens. Inside this toolkit, there are three main tools. First, you've got police power. This lets the state create laws to promote public welfare, to keep things safe and orderly. Then there's eminent domain. This is the power to take private property for public use, like for a new highway. But, and this is a big but, they have to pay you a fair price for it. And finally, taxation. Yep, you know this one. It's the power to collect money to pay for everything the government does. So, we have the toolkit. Now, how does the blueprint actually organize the government itself so it can use these tools properly? The core design idea is brilliant, and it's called the separation of powers. See, the people who wrote this blueprint were smart. They knew that putting all that power in one place or in one person's hands is a really bad idea. So to prevent anyone from getting too powerful, they split the government's authority into three separate, co-equal branches. This creates a natural system of checks and balances, where each branch keeps an eye on the others. First on the list, the legislative branch. In the Philippines, that's Congress, which is made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives. Their job is huge, but it's straightforward. They are the lawmakers. They're the ones who write the laws, change them, and even get rid of old ones. Next up, we have the executive branch, with the president at the top. You can think of them as the enforcers. Their whole job is to take all those laws that Congress just passed and actually put them into action, to make sure they're being followed across the country. And that brings us to our third branch, the judiciary. This is the whole court system, from the local courts all the way up to the Supreme Court. They are the interpreters, or maybe the referees. When there's a fight over what a law means or whether it follows the Constitution, the courts step in and make the final call. Okay, we've got this powerful government with all its branches and its tools. But what about you? What about the individual citizen? This is where we get to what is, for my money, the absolute heart of the Constitution. It's the part that answers the question, what's stopping the government from going too far? This part is called the Bill of Rights, and you should really think of it as your personal shield. It's a list of fundamental freedoms and protections that the government is forbidden from taking away from you. It's the guarantee that the power the people gave to the government won't be used against them. And the cornerstone of that shield, the absolute foundation, is a concept called due process. It sounds a little technical, but the idea is simple and non-negotiable. The government has to play by the rules. Period. It can't just take your life, your freedom, or your property whenever it wants. It has to follow a fair and legal process first. You've definitely seen this in action, probably on TV a million times. The Miranda rights. This is due process, happening in real time. When someone is arrested, they're told these things to make sure they know their rights. The right to stay quiet, the right to a lawyer, so that they can't be tricked or forced into saying something that hurts them. And of course, the Bill of Rights goes way beyond that. It guarantees all the things we think of when we hear the word freedom. The freedom to say what you think, to believe what you want, and to gather together peacefully. It protects your right to privacy and your right to travel. All these things are hardwired into the nation's blueprint. It's so important to remember that the Constitution isn't just some dusty old document locked away somewhere. It's meant to be a living, breathing framework for the whole country. So if you're going to take away just one thing from all this, let it be this simple circle. Power comes from the people, it's delegated to the government, and that power is limited by rights that are guaranteed for the people. That flow, that complete circle, is the essence of democratic government. And if all those articles and sections are the structure of the blueprint, then the very beginning, the preamble, is its soul. It's the introduction that explains why it was all created. It lays out the hopes, the dreams, and the core values of the Filipino people who came together to build a just and humane society.
And all of this leaves us with one last really big question to think about. A blueprint is a plan, but a nation isn't a building. It's alive, it grows, it changes. So as society evolves and faces new challenges, how should its fundamental blueprint adapt and change right along with it? That's a question for every single citizen to consider.